I love stuff, okay? TikTok counts as stuff. I love some stuff on TikTok. Recently, I've been seeing some crazy stuff. First, it was Shane Dawson operating the conspiracy schizo realm. Now, on TikTok, there's this guy named Ken Wax, and he went a little bit too far. He's sort of like the schizo king of TikTok, and I'll tell you why.
I had an interesting experience at brunch today.
I don't actually mean he's schizophrenic. I mean he's taking mountains out of molehills. This guy Ken is very interesting to me. I've seen his videos for a good while now. They've been popping up on my For You page. He was talking about murders at Lady Bird Lake in Austin, Texas, which is close to where I live. So I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I read the comments, and it's like people celebrating this man who's solving murder. How is this guy solving murder? He's just a fucking guy. How is he just a fucking guy solving murders? He's not solving murders, but he says he's solving murders. We'll get into it. He's a little delusional in my opinion. Maybe schizophrenic, actually. Or he's just a fucking grifter. I'll let you guys decide. Or he's just a good guy who's trying to do good and he's just, misunderstood. I don't really know, to be honest, but I'll tell you what I think. He had humble beginnings. He's been making videos for a good while. He reviewed brunch at a local place, pretty uninteresting stuff. He was talking about grocery stores that have beef with each other. He talked about Red Bull's origin story. Very interesting, very titillating, very good content. Little did we know that he would be having his own origin story in no time at all. He, in my opinion, is a massive fan of true crime podcasts and conspiracy theories and things of that nature because he made a video on that stuff. He connected the dots on some disappearances and bodies being found, and he struck gold. The video did extremely well.
The same thing's happening in Chicago, in Minneapolis, in Wisconsin, in parts of Ohio, in Pittsburgh, and of course you have the smiley face killers in Boston.
I believe this is the video that I saw. He duetted and or stitched a video of someone who claimed there was a serial killer in Austin, Texas. It was on April 4th, very recently.
I made a map with the data that I have for Chicago. Black is where bodies have been found, and blue is where people have been missing. And orange is where people were attempted to be picked up. I also have made one for Austin, where blue is where people are missing from. It's all concentrated truly on the same street, and black is where they are found.
Basically all big cities, right? That's where most murders happen, to be honest. Not to laugh at murders literally, but this is how it starts. He also talks about the smiley face gang in Boston. They'll be important later. You need to remember this. Right off the bat, you can tell how down the rabbit hole this man has gone. And in reference to people who were almost picked up by kidnappers, he makes sure to include in parentheses, me twice. So he's also almost been kidnapped, apparently, in Chicago, which is crazy, man. Chirac's insane, dude's Gotham City, and this guy's Batman.
You're really going to tell me that all these people are just falling in? There's no issues for months, and then all of a sudden there's 4 people who fall into a river or a lake in 3 weeks.
So we know he's invested in the story because he's already declared that he has been affected by this whole thing, and he's tying it all together.
I have not just theories anymore. I have evidence. I know what's going on, and it's so big and it's so deep and it's really wild.
Now, whether or not all these things are connected, I don't know, but he certainly does, and he certainly believes that that is the truth.
I have to keep some of these cards close to my chest until I can get the FBI involved because the cops are just not cutting it anymore. They might be involved.
There's the police. There's the FBI. There's people who are investigating this. All right, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. You're not going to figure anything out, to be honest. But before, let's just, especially not using TikTok. Come on, man. Come on, really? It's very unlikely. This guy's got a lot of time on his hands, though. Look at this, man. This is crazy. Look at all this. These poor males, all men missing. He seems to believe that this is a nationwide problem and that it's all linked. It's all linked. He's connecting the dots. And this grew so much that the Austin Police Department, in regard to the Lady Bird Lake drownings, made a response to it. The Austin Police Department is aware of speculations regarding the recent drownings in Lady Bird Lake. Although these cases are still under investigation and evidence is being analyzed, at this time there is no evidence in any of these cases to support allegations of foul play. One common theme of the drownings in Austin this year is the combination of alcohol and easy access to Lady Bird Lake. Whoa. Are you telling me that it isn't a giant conspiracy? Holy shit. Now, Ken says the mode of operandi, or the method of operating for all these disappearances, is exactly the same for the most part. Now, how would he know this? How would he know how these people disappeared unless he's the one doing the disappearing? I'm not saying he is, but how would you know that? That doesn't make any sense. And it makes even less sense to insinuate that it's all one person doing all this is batshit crazy. So I saw this video, and needless to say, the story has gone on. He's really gotten deep into this whole thing, and now he's turned a leaf too far, and people are a bit angry. But there's a little bit more to this. The dude says he's in some kind of crazy serial killer group of Austin, which I assume means he's in a group that tries to find out information about serial killers, most of which do not exist. You know, that's just a group of people that share information, not a group of serial killers, I think. His hog is no doubt throbbing, speaking about all these murders and deaths. It's sick, to be honest with you. It gave me the ick, as women will say. Women love saying that they get the ick, I've seen. Whenever I say, I'm also sitting like this right now. So, and I just said that he gave me the ick, and I'm sitting like this. Who needs to investigate me?
Nationwide, all I know is that we have a major public safety crisis and nobody goes home by themselves.
Dude is ringing the alarm bells in Chicago and Austin, trying to cause a panic, making people crazy and paranoid. There are millions of people that live in these places. People die. There's accidents. It's not that unusual. And like COVID in an old folks' home, this video went viral, dude. It spread quick. And as one does when their shit goes viral, you got to keep that fire lit. You got to shovel the coal. Keep posting, don't stop. This could be huge for me. It performed unlike anything this man had posted before. And you know, even though it's like the equivalent of yelling fire in a theater, the internet equivalent, it's just crazy, making people scared for no reason. A couple days later, the man uploaded another video. He talked about more body locations and claims that there are inconsistencies in Austin PD's reporting in these cases.
When the Austin Police Department was asked by a newspaper called The Statesman just how many people have drowned near Rainey Street, they did not answer.
He accuses the PD of underreporting the cases.
Instead, they put out a press release saying that since 2014, 5 people have drowned near the trailhead. The police say 5. I have 24.
How does he know about this and not the police, the investigative? Like, are they hiding it? Why would they be hiding it? It doesn't make any sense. That just doesn't make any sense. What's the end game here? What's their plan? Are they the ones doing it?
I am not trying to push a serial killer narrative. I am not trying
to... Where are the bodies, Ken? Where are the bodies? Where are the bodies, Ken? Where are the bodies? Where are they? Under your floorboards? He continues to sensationalize, and of course you have to sensationalize because that's how you get people to talk about stuff. He mentions how 8 to 10 of them are still unidentified, and another 18 can't even have their last locations known. Then he makes an insane claim saying he's not trying to push a serial killer narrative, which is literally what he's doing. He mentioned a serial killer gang, the Smiley Face gang in Boston in his last video, and talking about the attempted kidnappings, including his own 2 experiences, and tagging the video with the Smiley Face gang and organized crime. He's got to be relevant to the narrative. He's building a story. He's building a story brand.
And to those who have asked me for a Boston map, I'm working on it, so please stay tuned. I will probably have it done by the end of tonight.
And in this video, he also mentions the startup that he's working on called Foresight. It's a company called Foresight. It's a brief mention, but this is important, just like the Smiley Face game, because it will come back to haunt him. And the third video is just more of the same. He stitches someone who claimed that they were almost kidnapped in Chicago and links it to the person or entity that is apparently responsible for every kidnapping and murder that has happened worldwide. When in reality, there's a lot of people. And that just seems to happen. And then, guys, this is where it all comes crumbling down for our friend Ken, who seems like a nice guy, by the way. I've been a little aggro. I just think it's really gross and weird. But he has cultivated an audience up until this point that is treating him like an underground news channel. He's talking about something that is so important and so galvanizing. People are getting murdered. They're getting killed. You could go missing if you're not careful, dude. Listen to him. He's documenting the terrifying rise of organized, targeted kidnappings and murder. This is big shit he's talking about. And people are just waiting by their phones for another ding for his updates, but he decides to take a detour. He went on a little bit of a break from his regularly scheduled programming to talk about his startup and app, Foresight. He doesn't even mention any of the other stuff, and it looks like a terrible app. It looks like shit. It's a very ugly app. I hate it. It looks like a mobile game, like a really shitty mobile game, and the font is terrible. It's a glorified planning app. You know, it just looks like shit. And but the video was kind of well received, and many of the comments were talking about how people are trying the app and they love it, except for the god-awful appearance. But dude, you know. It is at this point he decided to just shill his product to the massive audience he cultivated on completely different content. The news. You know, he's building the news. He's creating a narrative of urgency for people to be careful. He's capitalizing on literal murders. And this is insane. And people even commented on this video asking if they're safe where they're going. Because up until this point, he's painted himself as a public safety expert and guru. But you know what? Get your bag, man. It's a product you're making, get at it. You're a CEO, you're an entrepreneur. You can have two different passions you're working on. One is literally saving lives and the other one is having a shitty planning app, but we'll see. He then posts another video of another project that he's working on too. He's working with a nonprofit to raise $1 million to feed 1,000 families in Chicago for a year. He's personally donated $1,000 himself. It's pretty cool, but it is at this point that he has cemented himself as the serial killer guy, and everyone wants updates about what's happening at Lady Bird Lake. What does he know that the police don't know? This guy's literally Batman. So after the app and charity plugs, he goes back to covering the serial killer epidemic that has got our nation in a chokehold.
The story that seemingly nobody but this guy can tell. So this is kind of a hard story to do.
And that is because it is almost the perfect crime. Think about it.
The fifth video makes a lot more crazy links to other cases and covers a survivor story of someone who got into a car pretending to be an Uber.
Because it is not illegal for somebody to offer you a free ride, regardless of whatever their intentions are with you once you get in the car. The police will not investigate.
And woke up hours later on the ground outside. Don't think that was a serial killer because he probably would have serially killed that person, to be fair.
I have someone who survived one of those rides. He got into a car thinking it was his Uber because his Uber baited him. And he woke up 7 hours later in a field next to the river with his wallet and card gone, cards run, phone stolen, and roofied.
I don't know why they would toss you back into the wild if their intention is to murder you. This just seems like something horrible that happened to someone and probably is not linked to all the other things.
Protect his identity at this point. I will not explain how, but he did. There was a woman, Rosa Chacon, who went missing in January, whose body was later found in a shopping cart, and she was last seen getting into a rideshare. At this point, I don't know if it's related, but I do know that the rideshare company has never come out and definitively said yes or no as to whether or not Rosa actually did get into their car. I also know there are so many women that go missing, like 15-year-old Layla Brown, 19-year-old Renique Pryor, who's been missing for 3 months, 22-year-old Trinity Franklin, who went missing in Lakeshore East, and so many others that I don't know about yet who have never been found.
He ends the video saying that this is not a conspiracy theory, it's a real problem, and he himself is going to fix it.
This is not a conspiracy theory. This is a problem, and I'm going to do everything I can to fix it.
Now that is an insane savior complex, if I do say so myself, and that is vigilantism. There is a problem with vigilantism in real life because it creates a phenomenon known as social othering and opportunism. You just get too much power when you're the savior of mankind. And it doesn't end well. Batman and Robin have ethics. Normal people don't really have ethics. They've never read Spinoza. All right. This guy definitely has one of those fucking boards with the yarn and the papers and everything, like that scene from Always Sunny. I love it. It's how he's manifesting it all together. He's getting it all to link together. This dude is literally trying to manifest murders. It's crazy. Now, this guy made a video about a poor fellow named Seamus Gray, who was a Navy sailor who went missing, and his body ended up being found in Lake Michigan. He had drowned, basically. And his autopsy revealed that there was no evidence of foul play or anything otherwise. I'm not saying you shouldn't question things, but for the sake of the man who just passed away and his family, let's not. There's no foul play, okay? And yeah, this doesn't stop Ken from turning every single detail of the situation into a conspiracy theorist wet dream.
They found his body tonight in Waukegan Harbor 32 days after he was first reported missing. The body of Seamus Gray, a 21-year-old active Navy sailor.
So Seamus was AWOL, and Ken talks about how he knows details about the man's life on base.
I know that he was at that bar by himself. If you're in the Navy, if you're an active military member, you're not allowed anywhere by yourself. He didn't have a Liberty buddy. Actually, I heard from one of his friends, someone in the Navy, someone at that base, that he had not signed out of their Liberty log.
The dude desperately wants to be important, and it is abundantly clear at this point that he just wants attention. In my opinion, this is gross.
There are some things that I know about Seamus and what was going on with his life on the base that I will not talk about on here until I get the chance to talk to his mother. And I was in touch with her a couple of weeks back, so.
Then he claims he doesn't want to speak any further until he speaks to Seamus's mother, who he claims he has spoken to in the past. Spoiler alert, nothing ever comes of this. He never revealed if they spoke or ever talks anymore about Seamus after this video. In this moment, it also becomes very clear to me that there is extremely manufactured empathy for these victims and their families, especially. I don't understand why you would be making videos about this. It doesn't make any sense. Maybe I'm just corroborating. Maybe I'm just connecting the dots. I'm just thinking this guy's fucking crazy. Maybe I'm the serial killer. Dude continues to speculate about Seamus being off base and without signing out of the log, and how he ended up in the lake, why all this happened after he left the bar, and then he links it all to the other disappearances. Why are all these people disappearing after they leave a bar alone? So it is at this point that our friend Ken is completely off the rails. He posts more and more videos about what's happening in Chicago and Austin, and even has a seemingly self-aware moment where he starts talking about sensationalizing serial killers. And I don't think he's actually talking about what he's doing. I think he's just trying to deflect as if he's not doing this thing. It's kind of funny, honestly. In this video, he also claims that he is talking to a private investigator and is going to hand over the ringleader of this group, basically saying that it's a group of people that is coordinating all of these kidnappings, disappearances, and murders. If you have all this evidence and you haven't given it to the police, and it's all private, and you're talking to a private investigator because the police wouldn't include him in their investigation, this is crazy, dude. Talk to the FBI. Why are you making TikToks about this? He thinks he's actually a part of some kind of crime-fighting syndicate, and he's in a very fragile state of delusion right now, and it all is about to come crashing down. At this point, people start catching on to the grift. There's some negative comments here and there. User 853-601-319-8318 says, "This is turning into a conspiracy witch hunt page." He says, "I'd rather think of it as a break from my normal content to raise awareness for public safety." This video is fucking wild.
Somebody just knocked on my door, and it's 8:30 at night on a Sunday, and so I go and I check in, and it's not someone I know, and so I open it, I'm like, "What's up?" And they're like, "Hey, my name's X, and I'm a private investigator looking into the smiley face group."
And because of this, he probably also believes that he's being followed by the magical shadow syndicate, the smiley face gang, the Xenocrons from the Zeta Reticuli system, abducting people for their probing experimentation or whatever the fuck he's talking about.
Holy shit, I can't believe this dude just came to my house.
He also says that the investigator is part of the team that is looking for the smiley face gang, and he's been recruited into their inner sanctum, their inner anus, guys. He's part of the team now. That is incredible. He just joined the Thieves Guild. It's a full secret society. Look at the ancient Egyptian symbols. That is incredible. They got business cards. This is where people holding on to the hope of the story being real start jumping ship. It starts to really go end up for old Ken. It's not looking too good, okay? It's just sensationalizing, theorizing. The conspiring, it's gotten too much for the average person. Me, I'm the average person. Very handsome, but I'm average. Look at the comments, for example. The team has been investigating them for years. I actually believe the story up until this point. Smiley face gang, secret meetings, business card with the Eye of Ra. Yeah, okay, buddy. As soon as you showed the card with some mysterious Egyptian symbol on it, you lost all credibility of this being real. Dead ass. But wait, there's a break in the case! He posts again. It's like the 12th or 13th video, and he claims he finally cracked the case.
I was able to crack it last night because of you, because of everyone who reached out with information for me. After Mark gave us a profile, he gave us a description of that driver, people then started contacting me via email, via Instagram message, whatever, with their experiences. Over time, I was able to isolate one guy's experience leaving a bar where he was able to get a license plate of a car.
He's working with Kevin Gannon, private investigator for 20 years and a veteran of the NYPD.
Last night, he asked me to join their team, and I have accepted. So now me and the 4 people that I have working for me on this have joined forces with them, and we all have different roles to play. But because of this, we now have access to resources that we did not have before. We can further these investigations at speed that they had not ever seen.
This is the guy whose team he's joined. Now, I don't know if they have their own like secret grotto or whatever, like in John Wick, and you need gold coins to get access, or you have to show off your Eye of Ra business card. He claims that the Smiley fucking boy gang case has officially been reopened, and he now has access to autopsies, medical reports, anything that he needs. Like he's a real police investigator or something insane like that. Something actually insane like that. He uploads a video where he claims he's building a base camp. Now, this isn't gonna be a physical place where he, his team, and his new cohorts, you guys, can conspire together to thwart supervillains and ne'er-do-wells. It's going to be a bunch of virtual project boards hosted through, you guessed it, his app. Oh, baby! The linchpin holding these investigations together. Foresight. The Ken Watts Project. The whole video is essentially an ad for his app, and he features the capabilities, how to use it, how versatile it is, how efficient, how effective it is, how efficacious it is for solving murders. In fact, we use Confluence for our planning on my YouTube channel. We're gonna switch to Foresight. Thank you, Ken Watts. Maybe then we'll post more and make better content. Believe it or not, people did not jive with this, guys. He went completely off the rails, didn't like this. Is he delusional? Is he just a grifter? Guys, we don't know. But the reception to this video is fucking absolutely terrible, and he realized that he crossed the line, and he hasn't made any videos since this. He apologized, guys. He's dressed to his nines, and maybe the best, the best apology video ever. All right.
But I made a mistake by intersecting those two parts of my life, and I want to apologize for the families impacted.
What do you guys think of this? Do you think he's going to come back? Do you think he's going to start a true crime podcast? What do you guys think? By the way, my new app just launched, and it's called Butt Poo Poo Shit. And we're going to be talking about that in the next 15 videos.